Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Talking Reds. And in this special episode, we are going to be talking about one man and one man only, Darwin Nunez, and what is going wrong possibly for Darwin Nunez at Liverpool and maybe even Uruguay as well. We've got David here, who is Warriors of Uruguay on Twitter or X, whatever you like to call it these days. Darwin Nunez is a very, very hot topic in terms of debates with Liverpool fans, with Uruguay fans. Is he the right man to lead the line for both teams? And is he not reaching his full potential? And is the criticism on him valid? That's what we need to ask in this episode, and this is what we're gonna break it all down and do it professionally, because I think Darwin Nunez deserves this. I think you guys at home deserve a more sensible breakdown than just throwing hate or throwing whatever. We need to delve in deeply. Darwin Nunez. It's frustrating. Would you say it's frustrating watching him?
Yeah, for sure. Because there's no progression at the moment. Regression when it comes to goal scoring, for sure. People like to talk about his overall impact on the game, and I concede that, and I acknowledge it as well, because he can bring a lot besides scoring goals. But I think the main point to discuss is the production in terms of goals. He's got 2 goals. It's almost Christmas. In the Premier League, 2 goals in Premier League, almost Christmas.
Yeah.
9 and 11 in his first 2 seasons. You would like to see an upward trend, and at the moment, it doesn't seem like there is one. And then when you play for a club like Liverpool, it's perfectly normal that people would criticize him and even would say and think, well, maybe we have to look elsewhere for a number 9. So yeah, that's I can completely understand that, because I would be in the same frame of mind probably. For me, it's different. I follow Uruguay. I mean, we cannot sign or sell players, obviously.
Well, yeah.
And Darwin has obviously delivered in the last 2 years, but there's also been bad spells, which he's currently going through, also for Uruguay. So therefore, there's reason to discuss it and to perhaps certainly when it comes to his club career, look how actually, if it's ever going to work at Liverpool, right? That's the thing. That's probably what many people are now talking about and kind of discussing whether it actually ever will work out.
I mean, how long do you wait? I think that's what Liverpool fans are asking now. How long do we wait for this? Because we have had him for 2.5 years. We've had him for Klopp. We've had him for Slot, and I think people were on the sort of run out of patience last season with him a little bit. But I think this season, for new manager, maybe a new system, different runs, things like that, different formations, different way to get a bet out of him. Like, we'll never ever criticise his energy and his efforts and his way to get back and get involved. Like you said earlier on, like he gets involved with the game, he gets himself about. But we bought him for his goal scoring and his link up going forward, because even going forward, he's not really doing much in terms of the forward play. He's getting back a lot and getting involved in the tackles and things like that, but we didn't buy him for that, and that's just the way it is. That's the way it is in football, and it's an elite sport, and it's quite a brutal sport where if it don't work out, you are sort of let go. The regression, though, he had bags of potential. When we bought him from Benfica, this guy scored a few against us in the Champions League, 2 or 3 of them offside, but clinical finishes. Does he still? Do you think he still has that sort of clinical mindset about him?
Well, the thing is, he's never been clinical. That's the thing, because obviously he's had clinical spells wherein he scored a lot of goals and he's on it. But Darwin is a player; he doesn't need to think when it comes to finishing. He needs to be fluent and very in the flow. And when things are going right, he can bang them in. And that season in Benfica, it's certainly his best goal scoring season, but also in terms of his clinicalness in front of goal, because the overall picture of Darwin during his career wasn't this very efficient striker. It was someone who got into ran through the channels in behind, get loads of chances, score some great goals, but also miss loads of chances. So that's the overall how I would describe Darwin in front of goal. But obviously, when you're 22, 23 and you move to Liverpool, you just had a great season at Benfica. You did well in the Champions League, not only against Liverpool, but also basically knocked out Barcelona in the group stages. You would hope that, let's work on it. There are a lot of tools to work with, like Klopp said as well. He's someone we can work with. I think similar to that, Klopp said something similar to that. But then it's for some reason has not been able to work out, or he's not been able to make the next step. And then he's a player that when things are not going well, and he feels the confidence is waning in him, not by fans because in the stadium he's backed massively, but overall he's someone then it gets into his game. You see the insecurity in his game, and that's something which obviously is normal for many people and certainly for many players. And I actually do not like this kind of thing when people saying, well, he's being criticized. That's why there's lack of confidence now, and that's why the performances are lacking. And I understand that rationale, but we are talking about the elite football. That is
that's it. Yeah,
just how it is, right? So it's up to him to actually turn it around. And will he do it? It's hard. For me, it's kind of hard to say that he will at the moment.
And that's the difference between like the world class, the elite players from the ones below, because they have not only they have elite talents and elite ability, it's the mindset. And that mindset, we see it off the pitch where he does get involved in too much. I think often he lets things get to him. But at a club like Liverpool and a country like Uruguay, Uruguay are known for success as well. The first country to ever win the World Cup. You built on success, and it's like literally the national sport. Everything's about football. Same with England. This sort of criticism and things is just part of the game. I've called out so many times like abuse. I don't think people should ever go abuse. I think it's ridiculous for people that go abusive online and it's like death threats and things like that. I think it's just their insecurities showing out online. However, but criticism is just part of football. Do you think like working on his mindset would help him a lot? Like maybe that psychologically.
And I'm pretty sure he will do something about that. But I think he's an emotional guy. I mean, I remember him posting something on Instagram while it was at Benfica, because at Benfica, first season, real tough spells in that first season. A lot of criticism from the Benfica fans because he missed loads of chances, and then he kind of had a better moment or just like found his way, and he had a post real emotional, kind of not implying how kind of a hard period he had gone through because of all the criticism. So he's an emotional guy, and he obviously sees it or hears it, because some players just kind of seclude themselves from it all.
Yeah, ignore it. Yeah,
and a lot of players learn to live with it, which I believe is the best way to do it. If you're certainly in this day and age when it comes to footballers, because they all obviously I mean, you cannot not see it when you're playing for a club like Liverpool, or you're in the limelight. But yes, they learn dealing with it, or maybe trying to get someone to help him is obviously a good idea. But at the end of the day, it's also a quality matter. I think he has the quality to be a really good striker. At 22, 23, I thought maybe he could go on to be a world-class striker. And he's had spells in his career where he was up there with the best strikers in the Premier League for, like, let's say a 5 or 10 game stretch, or let's say a period with Uruguay where he scored against Brazil and Argentina. But the problem is that it has to be the consistency. This has to be there. And if it's not there, then you cannot be classed as that elite or world-class striker. And so far, he's not been able to do that. And at 24, 25 now, I'm not sure if that's going to happen. And then for Liverpool, it's obviously very logical to move on. But for people to voice that, it emboldens some people who really hate him, but also kind of gets you a lot of criticism for people who back him to the moon and like really without any objectivity. So it's hard to voice it, I guess. Certainly when you are seen as someone who has to back Uruguayan players. Back Uruguayan players, but I criticize them as well if it's
exactly. It's about being real. I think it's about being real, isn't it? Real. I think it's about being real and being just down the middle in terms of things. Like, why can't we criticize players? Why can't we say, if they've been poor, they've been poor? It's as simple as that. I don't like this protection, and I've always said I think because protection of a thing, the protection's so big, like the hate is so big. I think it's like passes it back, but when there's actually just a middle ground to be had here. Look, we believe that he had potential. He showed signs of a brilliant striker, but at the end of the day, he's not been good enough.
No.
And that's the simple, straight down the line, middle opinion on it. We've had the pleasure, both Uruguay and Liverpool, to see Luis Suarez, and unfortunately for Darwin Nunez, he is going to get compared to the likes of Luis Suarez because Uruguay at Liverpool, the links are there. But
Yeah.
he's also getting compared to like people in the past. When I think of Liverpool strikers, I think of Torres, I think of Suarez, I think of Sturridge, I think of Robbie Fowler, Ian Rush, players that are just match winners and come out of something with nothing. And Nunez just doesn't do it enough for me. And this begs the question: is Darwin Nunez just not good enough for Liverpool?
Well, at the moment, I think it's hard to argue against it, because another thing, and I'm probably sure you will see it as well, is that Liverpool top of the league, top of the Premier League or the Champions League league phase table as well, I think. So people say, well, it's not that much of an issue. He's playing his part. And I kind of understand where they're coming from. But the problem is that when Liverpool are going through a tougher phase, or when Salah's goals are drying up, which happened, for example, last season, and he's not having a good spell, they need Diaz or Darwin Nunez, to deliver. And Diaz actually there's been an upturn of his productivity in front of goal for sure.
Yeah.
And for Darwin, you cannot rely on him at that moment. You cannot count on him because he's not having. He's obviously had this Newcastle moment, the Forest moment, away at Forest last year, but there's not been a consistency in his reliability in front of goal. And if you're Liverpool, you obviously want that. And Firmino perhaps did not offer that, but Firmino offered a lot more.
Yeah, it was a system.
Yeah. So, and Firmino obviously was more of a, like, you know more about this than me, but Firmino made sure that Mane and Salah were basically the strikers, and Firmino was more of the link player, and Darwin is not that. Although obviously what he brings, for example, the Chelsea game when he came on after I think Jota went off injured, if I'm not wrong, and he came on early in the game, great performance, absolutely. That was a really good performance without scoring a goal. But we shouldn't act like it's been like that all season, because it's not.
That's it. Yeah, the reaction from people that can't criticize Nunez off the back of a good game is too much. Like, it's like they forget about the other 10 games he's had. That's poor.
Yeah.
And that's for me. You got to look at the whole picture. And like you said there, he came on against Chelsea, absolutely fantastic. Came back defence, blocked some crosses, and we love the effort, but fans can give effort. We could put a fan in a shirt and put on the pitch, and he'll give 100% effort, and might not run as fast or as round as much, but he'll give 100% effort. I'll tell you that. But at some point, it's going to be too, like you said about reliability. We need to rely on someone at that forward position, and when Salah's goals he has a drought, or he has a few games where he doesn't. And it showed at the weekend, actually. Jota came on and scored. But we can't rely on Jota's injuries.
Yeah, that's
that's what Jota did. I know Darwin Nunez passed him ball, but what Jota did, that's what Darwin Nunez should be doing. Quick turn, score in the bottom corner. That's what Darwin Nunez should be doing. And Salah, we can't always rely on Salah to save us. No. When Diaz and Gakpo have sort of dropped off a little bit in recent weeks, in terms of especially output, someone else needs to do it. And it doesn't seem like Darwin Nunez is the guy really right now. What's it like for Uruguay though? Is it being the guy, or is it on and off a bit like with Liverpool?
So the thing is, he obviously, for like the first 2 or 3 years of his Uruguay career, Suarez and Cavani were still in the picture, so he didn't play as much, and he played off the left wing also an awful lot. But I think since the start of the qualifiers, so that's like 2023, he really started really well under Bielsa, scoring goals in the qualifiers against Brazil, Argentina, like I said, Colombia away, and playing really well. In the lead up to the Copa America last summer, he scored some goals. In the group stages, scored some goals, but also missed a lot of chances. And then in the latter stages of the tournament, he didn't convert his chances in big moments. Against Brazil, we were bailed out because we won on penalties. But against Colombia, and in the first half, he had certainly 2 or 3 really decent chances, didn't convert them. Uruguay went out. So I was already kind of annoyed by that, because that's where you want your striker to be and to deliver for Uruguay. And then at the back of the Copa America, he's now at a 4 or 5 game spell without goals and not really impacting the game. So that's kind of illustrating the point once again. He can have these hot streaks, this good moments for a few months or a few games, and then it goes off. And for Uruguay, he's still the number one man because Bielsa will back him, and also the alternatives are either not the similar level, or they are very young and they're not there yet. But it will be interesting to see, because who knows? I mean, he's got 3 goals by December, end of December now for Liverpool. That's for me, it's worrying. It's not like I'm
Yeah,
frustrated.
yeah.
Obviously, I don't like it. I mean, I want to see him score goals, and 3 goals, whether however way you spin it, it's not good for a striker. Just this is how it is.
It's not, and he has been playing though as well, because Jota has been out for quite a while, so he has been playing. So he's had the game time to score goals. He's he's certainly had plenty of chances. He had a few chances against Newcastle, a couple of 1-on-1s he missed, and
Yeah,
I think it's the easier chances that really frustrate everyone. It's all right scoring an absolute worldie in one game, and then next game missing 3 or 4 1-on-1s. And you said there that the missed chances that end up costing you a place. You got knocked out. And it's with us as well. It's costing us. It costs you points, and that's
yeah,
as simple as that. Right now, it looks good because we're top of the league. And you can sort of get away with it. But at some point in the season, it's not going to work out like that. And it's these misses that we're looking back on, saying, like we did last season. We were top of the league last season up to Christmas, and then we started. Salah started dropping off, and other players started dropping off. And Nunez misses against Luton, for example, from like 1 yard out over the bar. Things like that, you go back to it, and it wasn't. People say, "Oh, he's scapegoated Nunez." Last year, yeah, defence were poor. We needed a midfielder. That was poor. But he still can say, "Look, Nunez missed those chances that did cost us points in the end, and defence cost us points in the whole." And going forward, like you said, you guys you can't go out there and sign someone. Liverpool can,
yeah.
and that's why I look to we're signing for 85 million. Would knowing the ownership we have, would we take a loss on that money and go out and get someone like an Isak, for example, at Newcastle? Is it that easy to go and get someone else, especially at that price?
Yeah, that's hard, I guess, because I mean, but I don't think. I mean, you obviously will take a loss if you sell him, but you will still get, for me, 30-40 million in that region, because
Yeah,
she's still Uruguay international, still a good player. I mean, and I think a lot of managers will look at him and think, well, and managers obviously always think like that. They see a player that's not like fulfilling his potential perhaps somewhere, and they think they can do something with it, or they can let him play in a better way. And getting back to what you said is that the back end of last season, last season in general, he got loads of chances all season. This season, some people have been saying, well, he's not getting a lot of chances, so how can you blame him for that? And the thing is, I mean, you're not getting a lot of chances as a striker. It's not solely the response. It's not solely It's not solely. Your teammates are not solely the culprit for that. I mean,
yeah.
you have agency as well in whether you are getting chances or not. So I don't like that argument. And also in games where he's got loads of chances, for example, against Aston Villa at home, where he could have scored 3, it's still a problem, right? So it's not
Yeah.
like, let's not make it out like that is the problem now. I think, yeah, no. So that's
You've got
not.
to make your own chances though as well, haven't you? You've got to make your own chances. I mean,
Yeah,
I know Haaland doesn't as much, but he does sometimes make his own chances, Haaland. But he can get away with not making his own chances because the amount of goals that he scores and how clinical he is.
yeah,
It's really hard because I could say that let's go get this player, let's go get this player. I would rather Nunes just work. I'd rather it just work than waste 85 million on Nunes or go out and buy another striker. It'd be much easier as Liverpool just for him to actually work. We want this guy to do well. And one thing I'll always praise on Nunes is his movement. His movement's absolutely world class. Reminds me of Cavani. It's quite similar to Cavani in terms of the movement is fantastic, and he never really got as many goals as he should have than Cavani. The way in terms of his movement, it was I think it was a better finish than Nunes clearly, but they're quite similar players, aren't they? In terms of the movement, just get a little bit of praise for Nunes. I know
no,
we'll
no, no,
criticise him on
sorry,
this thing.
no,
Yeah,
no, I
but
agree.
his
No,
movement's
no,
sensational. It's
I
just his finishing.
I agree with the Cavani comparison. Obviously, is also they're both really in great physical shape. Like the height they have, I think, not too high, not like crouch height, but you get what I'm saying. Uh,
Yeah.
and they really have good movement in general. And Cavani, I mean, is been slated during his career for missing chances as well. So it's not like, I mean, even these great strikers, one of the best of the generation, do. But yeah, he still turned in plenty 25 plus goals
That's it.
seasons, and that's what Liverpool wanted from Darwin. And yeah, it doesn't look likely even in his third season now. So yeah.
And touch wood that Salah doesn't go for free. Because if he does go for free, we ain't got someone that can score that sort of many goals. We are looking to Nunez even further more so than now. Thank you for joining me, David. That was an absolute pleasure to speak about Darwin Nunez' insight and from another fan's perspective as well. Like, it's different as a club fan to a national fan. You're still seeing the same things that we're seeing, but from a different view, if that makes sense. Because at the end of the day, you watch him in the international games. I watch him every single week, and he is frustrating. He's probably one of the most frustrating players I've ever watched at Liverpool because we know how good he can be in some games. But like you said, consistency and doing it every single week for an elite team, elite nation, and an elite club. We need better, really, and that's the bottom line of it. I'd rather Nunez do well than go out and buy another striker. We still hope that Nunez does do well. I think it's just one of them. We just got to be patient, see what happens. Just hope it doesn't start costing us points like it did against Newcastle, because from top of the league could easily go to fourth in the league in this league. It's that quick. And wow. Anyway, thank you for joining me, David. Absolute pleasure to do this insight with you. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and get your notification bells on. Content out every single day. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Get your comments in as well. Have a great week, guys.